Bernard Beckett. I am a school teacher and also a writer, both of fiction and more recently of non-fiction. In terms of the world of science and the Royal Society, I got a teaching fellowship, one of the Royal Society administered teaching fellowships back in 2005, and it was just an opportunity that came across my desk basically for a mathematics teacher, and I thought this might be a chance. And I sort of went into it not knowing a whole heap about what would come out, which in the end turned out to be the strength of the project. In fact, it was an open-ended go and learn sort of thing. I had a great host of Alan Wilson Centre up at Massey University, and they were working with molecular evolution stuff. And I went there at first thinking, I wonder what I can learn from this place and maybe put into a piece of fiction. And that sort of morphed during the year, and it morphed because it was allowed to, because I didn't go in and to sign something that says you produce this sort of a report or whatever out of that. And so what happened is I ended up being in an environment that was a very, very sort of vital learning environment, and one where one was expected not only to learn but also to feed back into the learning. So the great thing for me in that year is I was sort of challenged to add something back to the centre. So that the key things were sort of for me was an open environment. It was somebody funding a year off from my teaching, but not saying the pound of flesh they needed was a particular outcome, sort of trusting me. And then a supportive environment, that science environment in the end, which was full of inquiring minds who weren't there to just tell you how the world was, but were also interested in what you might bring. So it was the most fantastic year. I never really want to leave the teaching environment, and I don't want to leave it, for really selfish reasons. It's not some sort of missionary zeal to change the world. It's actually the fact that I enjoy coming into the classroom each day. There's something about it. It's an environment where the energy is actually an energy of curiosity, which is just fantastic. In the end, despite what people tell us, teenagers are curious about the world they live in, and they want to know more about it. So they're motivated to learn.
Hi, my name's Peggy Russell and I'm originally from Dunedin, but this year I moved to Wellington to study my first year of architecture at Victoria University, and last year I was lucky enough to travel to Greenland with the Royal Society of New Zealand. The trip to Greenland really sort of inspired me in the way of architecture to become more of a sustainable architect and have a greater focus on reusing materials and making houses more energy-wise and reducing the amount of consumption within new housing and commercial buildings within New Zealand.
Hi, my name's Jo Randerson. I'm a creative writer and theatre performer and director. I came across the Royal Society when I was asked to work on a project called Are Angels OK?, which was a collaboration between physicists and creative writers. And when I was at school, I was actually a top science student. Those were my best subjects, especially physics and maths. I ended up being an artist, which I have no regrets about, but at the same time, to come back into the scientific world was a fantastic experience for me, not just for the research material, which, I forgot how interesting it was, but also on a personal level, just meeting the different scientists, that was really inspirational for me because I thought the artists were quite weird, but actually scientists are even stranger, and they often have weirder hairstyles, although they do often wear more conservative clothes. But for me, the experience of meeting a lot of these very intelligent and quite eccentric people who were well respected in their field actually gave me a lot of confidence in my artistic career, because I realised that it was okay to be intelligent and to be researching areas that other people thought were obsessive, and that it was all right to be enthusiastic and passionate, and that actually in the scientific world those things were seen as being quite professional. So yeah, I felt quite personally encouraged actually by meeting a lot of the scientists.
Hello there, I'm Josh. I do a lot of film work now after doing the Antarctic and National Film Science Competition, which is sort of my passion is film. At the moment I'm doing props and running for a couple of films and wherever I can get work really. My trip to Antarctica was intense. It woke me to the idea that the world is a lot bigger than Wellington.
I've gone for the real simple snow cave look. As you can see, I'm just going for a straight edge upon edge upon edge there. Beautiful, nice layout. That's my nightly drink and my sunglasses. I love the way.
And going to Antarctica changed me because it was just such a huge place and such a distant alien place. And I was just overwhelmed by it, I guess.
Many people recommend against it, but I think it just brings out the best in you and when you wake up in the morning. Now, if you lift it up here, you'll see.
It made me feel a part of a greater scheme. It did definitely expand the possibilities. It shows you there's a lot of stuff you can do in life, and there's a lot of places you can go. Well, I didn't really know what to think beforehand with my impression of Sir Edmund Hillary when I met him. He was... Okay, well, when you see him on a $5 bill, that's Sir Ed. You know, everyone knows Sir Ed. He climbed the mountain. Meet him in real life, once again, you realise that he is a human being as well, that laughs, jokes. He's a real lively character. When I met him wasn't too long before he passed away, so meeting him was probably one of those moments in life I'll take with me for a long time, and something that I never dreamt I would probably ever do, him being such a very important character and me being an average person. And yeah, it was something to definitely tell my kids about.